Welcome back everyone to another video of World of Warships Legends. It's update week. We had a lot of changes this week. We brought in carriers. We saw the Bismarck get some buffs. We're going to get an Italian destroyer. So much stuff coming at us, but the big one is absolutely the introduction to carriers. We're getting them at tier 3, tier 5, and 7. And this is going to change the dynamic, and I think we need to kind of talk about it and talk about how it's going to change specifically destroyers, because carriers are going to make life very difficult for the destroyers of the game. In the background here, we have a game of domination on North. This is going to be a tier 7 / legendary game, and I'm going to be driving the Akazuki. In this game, this is just my Akazuki as it was built prior to the update. Didn't have any of the modifications that focused on AA, but we're still going to see what the ship was capable of and how strong the AA is even without those modifications installed on this build. So to start off, we're going to take a look at the stats of the destroyers at tier 7. We currently have 8 destroyers that we can be playing, and the stats are a little iffy. There's 2 ships that can probably hold their own AA-wise, and the other 6 are kind of lagging behind. Now, AA is fairly complicated. It's not just, base, hey, this is your AA rating. It actually has 3 different zones. So you have your outer zone, you have a middle zone, and an inner zone. And each one of those zones is going to deal a specific amount of damage to planes that fly within the range of those zones. But for this video, we're not going to dig too much into those details. We're just going to look at the base AA rating and then the max AA range of the ship. So right here, this list is ordered from best to worst, and it looks like the time of the Udachi might finally be coming. The Udachi had a great run, almost a year it feels like it's been in the game, just out there sending ghost torps from 80 kilometers from all over the place. Well, now the AA rating for it is 6 with a max range of 2 kilometers. Basically, a plane's gonna have to fly right on top of it in order to even take any damage from its AA. Honestly, that's a huge liability for that ship. Kaguro, Leif and Task, they're right there also. Z-23, Lightning, Tashkent, all virtually the same. Lightning does have a little bit more range, but overall the base ratings are equal. And it is key to note, these ratings are without any of the modifications installed, so you can absolutely improve these a little bit. This is just as the ships were before any modifications. Now the 2 at the top, Fletcher and Akazuki, now these guys can absolutely shoot down some planes. 60 for the Fletcher, 70 for the Akazuki, and like I said, once you start tossing in the modifications in there, you can boost that AA rating up significantly and the range, and really just make these ships a pain for any carrier in the region. Now taking a look at the gameplay here, we spawned on the west side of the map, just north of A. We already have 9 planes shot down. Really had a good run so far. We had a couple squadrons from the carrier fly right above us while we were in the smoke. He couldn't see us, but our AA could see him thanks to the friendly ships around, and just absolutely tore them to pieces. We were fortunate not another destroyer was spawned on this side. So then what is the role of a destroyer? Spotting isn't as important anymore. You do have the carriers that their job is going to be out there spotting the battleships and enemy destroyers for you. So what should you be doing? Well, first and foremost, you should be trying to find the enemy destroyers and kill them. That's always going to be goal number 1. And number 2 is going to be still getting into the caps. You're going to have to play a lot more cautiously now, though. Since you can be spotted pretty easily by planes, with the way that the AA is currently working, if you're driving a carrier, you may not be able to see the destroyer, but you can see the destroyer's AA guns going off. That's how I'm tracking down these destroyers when I'm getting close. And it is an absolute nightmare when you have a carrier driver that's doing that. Perhaps in the future update, the AA might have the ability to be turned off. I know that PC does allow that. Because right now the AA is a liability, especially for those ships that have lower AA ratings and aren't going to be able to destroy the planes that are flying over them. So then after that, the destroyer, especially the Fletcher and Akazuki, since they're gunboats, you can kind of just let the guns open up. Right here, I'm engaging at a long distance. Actually, it was about this point a little bit earlier. I realized, oh yeah, the Bismarck got quite the buff to its secondaries. Even so, I can still hover around 11 and a half kilometers away, keep the guns going. If I'm not going to be attracting the enemy fire, I can at least be getting some damage. If I do attract enemy fire, I should have enough maneuverability to be able to dodge the shots coming in. And if for every shot they're shooting at me and missing, that just means that my friendly battleships, friendly cruisers are able to get more shots in on the battleships. So that's just basically providing fire on the enemy from many different angles as possible to either distract them or get damage, and just slowly whittle them down with these guns. On the other hand, if there aren't any enemy ships nearby, it will always be my goal, especially in this ship, to be between the carrier and my friendly battleships. My AA is going to be able to provide some damage to the enemy planes, whether they're coming from me or going from my enemy battleships. Basically, I want to make sure that the flight path is going to go over or near me in order to apply as much damage as possible to the planes and really decrease the chances that they're going to be able to get their bombs or torpedoes off on the ships. I'm not so much worried about being bombed or torped myself in a destroyer. Again, the maneuverability makes that tough. If I do see a torpedo run coming in on me, always turn into the torpedoes. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for them to hit you. You can also turn away. Basically, you're just minimalizing the profile of the ship. I turn in, especially like right here. The torpedoes have to be in the water for a certain amount of time to arm. So if I'm turning in, I'm cutting that time shorter, making it a lot more difficult. So either the pilot's going to have to pull the trigger earlier, which is going to cause the torpedoes to just spread in any which direction, or if they do wait too long, there's a chance that the torpedoes won't arm before they even get to where I'm located at. So as you can see right here, we already got 21 planes down. Since this thing did have a 5.3 kilometer range, basically if that plane has me spotted, it's going to be getting shot by all three of my zones with the AA. And a destroyer with good AA, I think, is going to be one of the stronger ships in the current setup. That was kind of a quick highlight of this game. You can see we have 21 planes shot down here. We ended up getting 23 total. The rest of the game, the carrier kind of runs, doesn't do too much. Our team is able to secure the victory, though. What are you guys' thoughts on carriers? What are your thoughts on the destroyer's life right now? I think if you don't have good AA, it's going to be extremely frustrating. But let me know in the comments. If this is your first time coming to the channel, consider hitting subscribe. We'll have a lot more videos coming at you shortly. Thank you and have a great day.